Hey there, Hollywood Hills fans, and welcome to another show. We are now officially halfway through the month of May, and it's time for gate pick number 2 on Tech Talk. A guy that has started to really make some inroads into his championships across the GXCCs and the Farm Jams. So we're going 2 for the price of 1 with big Gav Young. All right, Gav, tell us who you are, who you're riding for, and which bikes you're going to be telling us about today.
So I'm Gavin Young. I race for Bikers Warehouse, and today we're going to talk about my FX350 and my T250.
So historically, Gav, you were a smoker rider back in the YZ days. So you jumped across to the 350s, what, a year ago, and didn't work out then, did it?
Yeah, beginning of last year I hopped onto the 350, the Husky, and it was maybe a bit too much change to take on at once, but we've eventually sort of figured out how to ride the 4-stroke, how to ride the European bikes, and we've come to terms with it. We're friends with it now.
But you started the year by, in fact, I did a ride with you when you were in December, when you just grabbed your brand new 250, and that seems to have sorted you out. So let's go through the 250 and your setup on the wagon.
Yeah, so my 250 is pretty much bone stock. I've just put all the guards and stuff on it. It's just very easy to ride. It's very forgiving and very gentle. It can go if it needs to, but most of the time it's just gentle and easy to ride. So I think that sort of just helped me get my confidence back up on the bikes and get a feel for it.
We'll talk about your height because you're one of the tallest guys in the pits on the GXCCs and the Farm Jam gates. So on the 250, I'm surprised to see you running the bars as low as they are.
Yeah. So it's pretty much, I've got it set up for enduro type riding. So there you want it as low as you can so you can touch the ground and it doesn't feel like a Harley while you're trying to climb the rock. So that one I've left alone, kept it low, and it works for me. On the long races, my back does get a bit sore, but you can put up with it.
Suspension wise, CW, so obviously you've got this thing dialed in, probably more for trail riding like we have at the Farm Jams.
Yeah, so the front I'm running, well, front and back actually, I'm running soft. Even for the cross country races I just leave it alone, I leave it nice and soft. It's not enduro soft, it's more set up for like Farm Jams, that kind of stuff.
And then just go through the protection because I can see a lot of the enduro engineering stuff, and that's because of the terrain we're racing at the Farm Jams and some of the more tech races.
Yes, yeah. So we've got the enduro engineering hand guards, the front disc guards, the skid plates, the linkage guard, the rear disc guard, and then we just got the carbon tech on the header because we don't like dents.
Yeah, I think she's still looking, I mean, we're halfway through the season and she's looking pretty.
Yes, yeah, gotta keep it nice. But yeah, pretty much all the protection is just to keep the bike straight and looking nice for as long as possible, keep it together and rideable.
And let's just talk about your results, Gav, because you're a different dude this year. Like, you just look happier, more comfortable. Has the 250 helped you with that?
I think so, yeah. It's sort of, last year I was having a bit of a mind block, and I think riding the 250, just having fun on it, getting my groove back has sort of helped with that. It's just a lot easier to ride, and in the tech stuff, especially for the Farm Jams, it's just an absolute pleasure to ride. So helps me put my pace down.
Okay, let's move across to the 350. So it's one of my favorite bikes on the grid. It's always well dressed and everything like that. Not as much protection, but I don't know, Gab, it's your wagon, take us through it.
Yeah, so basic hand guards for trees and a silly flop over here and there. We've got the stock skid plates still, and then just a rear disc guard.
Yeah.
I haven't really needed much more. There's no real rocks or tech stuff in the cross country stuff, so it doesn't really need it.
It's not really weight saving, is it?
No, it just doesn't need it.
Whatever it needs.
Unnecessary.
Okay, the one thing I'm going to point out on this bike, and you're one of the few guys that can kind of make it work, you got this big slab of a saddle, so talk us through that.
Yeah, my surfboard of a seat. Just to help with my legs and stuff, standing up and sitting down, it's a bit quicker, and just weight transfer really, just to help keep it feel right.
When I saw you on the 250 earlier this year, I was like, I actually wondered if you'd kept the 350, but it seems like coming off the 250 onto the 350, now you seem a little bit more confident. You had one of your best rides at the last GXCC, so you got to be pumped on that at Babsfontein.
Yes, yeah, no, that went quite well. I think I've just sort of gotten a feel for the European bikes now. As I said, I only rode Japanese bikes up until the beginning of last year, so it took a bit of adapting. But now I've sort of got the feel for the 350, I understand how it works, and we work together well now.
talk about tires and sprocketing, and if you're running tires or tubes or moose. Let's start with the 350.
So we're running mooses on both bikes. We can't afford punctures anymore. So we're jumping between the Starcross 5 and Starcross 6, front and back really. The Starcross 6 is a bit better in the sort of thick sand for like Radium and Freiburg and that kind of riding. The Starcross 5 is more of a all-round tire. Works everywhere. When it comes to the Farm Jams, I'm running the Enduro mediums, those are the Michelins, front and back. They're soft, they grip well, and in the rocks and stuff, it gives you enough traction, keeps you stable.
And then talk about the season, obviously hitting all the Farm Jams, hitting all the GXCCs. We've had a bit of a window now, but there's a national coming up. Are you hitting that? And then obviously just trying to take down a championship in the GXCCs and Farm Jams.
So yeah, we're doing all the Farm Jams, the GXCCs, those are going well so far. Nationals I'm not too invested in. I might go down to the Freiburg one, not sure yet. We will see on that. And we've done a few little 4-2-4 in the race here and there, just to fill up the gaps.
Cool, man. And then obviously tell me what you're thinking as we go forward into Radium. I always say it's a classic race venue, but it's probably one of the toughest races because of how whooped out it gets.
Yeah, it's always a harsh one on the body, but just these 350s just eat the sand up. So as long as the suspension handles the whoops, then we'll be fine.
Okay, well, thanks for your time, and like I said to Ty last week, we'll see you on the gate.
Definitely.
So that's our second gate pick on Tech Talk. We now get ourselves ready for what is coming down the pipe. So a little bonus event coming up this weekend. It's going to be Beat the Clock up at Farm Jam, the original venue for all of the original Farm Jams out of the Dirt Tracks facility. But Leon and the boys have been out there making it flow, making it more open, and making it a little bit more fun for all of you guys out there to go out and do a time attack race. The cool part about this kind of format is you can go out there without having to bash bars and race against dudes. You're racing against the clock. So you can go out and do one lap, come back, take a breather, assess how you did in that lap, check your time, and then go out and attack it once again. So it's an awesome format. I am all in on this kind of format. So if you guys aren't going out there to Freiburg to go and do the national cross country, and you are a GXCC and a Farm Jam racer, this is ideal practice and setup. So get the entry in and get on out there and enjoy yourselves. We're getting ourselves ready to focus in on the racing month of June. That's going to be on the 8th of June, the next round. That's round number 4, the halfway marker of the GXCCs out at Radium. It's going to be an absolutely spectacular event as always. Whoopy and sandy, but that is what Radium is all about. And then we roll forward towards the end of the month, and that's going to take us into the 29th. Right at the end of the racing month of June, we go back into Farm Jams, and we hit their halfway knuckle of their championship as well. Stay pinned, guys. There's still plenty to come.